Imagine walking into a furniture store, planning to buy just one bookshelf, but 2 hours later, you're pushing a cart filled with candles, kitchen containers, plants, picture frames, and somehow you've also stopped for Swedish meatballs. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Every year, hundreds of millions of people visit IKEA stores around the world. Most of them arrive with a simple shopping list, yet many leave with far more than they plan to buy. Is that just a coincidence? Not even close. Because almost everything inside an IKEA store, from the arrows on the floor, to the location of the restaurant, to the tiny pencils near the entrance, has been carefully designed, not just to help you shop, but to influence how you think. And once you understand what's really happening, you'll never walk through IKEA the same way again. Today, we're uncovering the hidden psychology behind one of the smartest retail businesses ever created. For decades, buying furniture was a frustrating experience. Customers walked into crowded showrooms, looked through catalogs, waited weeks for delivery, and paid high prices. Furniture shopping wasn't enjoyable, it was exhausting. Then, in Sweden, a young entrepreneur named Ingvar Kamprad asked a simple question: what if furniture could be affordable for everyone? Instead of building luxury furniture, he focused on something different: efficiency, flat-pack furniture, self-service warehouses, simple designs, large production volumes. Customers would assemble the furniture themselves. That single decision reduced manufacturing costs, lowered shipping expenses, required less warehouse space, and allowed IKEA to offer stylish furniture at prices millions of people could actually afford. It wasn't just a cheaper product, it was an entirely new business model, and customers loved it. But affordable furniture wasn't the company's greatest innovation. Its biggest breakthrough was something almost invisible: the store itself. Imagine walking into your local supermarket. You grab a shopping basket, walk directly to the item you need, pay, and leave. Simple. Now compare that experience to IKEA. You rarely walk straight to the product you came for. Instead, you're guided through bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens, bathrooms, office spaces, children's furniture, lighting, decor, storage, and dozens of fully designed homes. At first, it feels like you're exploring, but in reality, you're following a carefully planned path. Business experts often call this the long natural path. Unlike many traditional stores, IKEA encourages customers to experience nearly every major department before reaching the warehouse. Why? Because every extra minute inside the store increases the chances of discovering something unexpected. Psychologists call this exposure. The more often you see a product, the more familiar it becomes, and the more familiar something feels, the more likely you are to buy it. Think about the last time you visited IKEA. Maybe you came looking for a desk, but on the way, you noticed a lamp, then a rug, a bookshelf, some storage boxes, a set of coffee mugs. None of those items were on your shopping list. Yet somehow, they ended up in your cart. That isn't an accident. It's part of the experience IKEA intentionally designs. Even the arrows on the floor serve a purpose. They reduce decision fatigue. Instead of constantly asking yourself, where should I go next? The path answers that question for you. That allows your brain to focus less on navigation and more on the products around you. The journey feels effortless, but behind the scenes, it's remarkably strategic. Now, the question might arise in your mind: why does IKEA present fully furnished rooms instead of displaying products individually? Here's something fascinating. Walk into most furniture stores and you'll see products. Walk into IKEA and you'll see lifestyles. Instead of placing a sofa on an empty floor, IKEA builds an entire living room around it. Instead of displaying a bed by itself, you'll find a complete bedroom with lamps, curtains, artwork, plants, shelves, and soft lighting. Why? Because human beings rarely buy products, they buy possibilities. When customers walk through these carefully designed rooms, they're not imagining furniture, they're imagining a better version of their own home. Psychologists call this mental simulation. The brain starts asking questions like, what if my apartment looked like this? My bedroom could feel this cozy. My kitchen could finally be organized. Suddenly, buying one chair no longer feels enough, because the chair now belongs to an entire lifestyle. And once someone imagines living in that environment, individual products become emotionally connected. This is one of IKEA's greatest competitive advantages. They're not selling wood, metal, or fabric. They're selling inspiration. But there's another clever trick. Why does IKEA place its famous restaurant almost exactly where it does? The answer explains why millions of shoppers stay longer and spend more. Have you ever noticed how many products don't have large price tags screaming for attention? Instead, the rooms encourage you to explore naturally. The shopping experience feels relaxed, almost like visiting someone's beautifully designed home. The longer customers stay, the stronger the emotional connection becomes. And emotional decisions often lead to bigger purchases than logical ones. After walking through dozens of beautifully designed rooms, something starts happening. Your feet become tired, your attention begins to fade. Your brain has processed hundreds of products. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. Every choice, every color, every sofa, every table, every lamp requires mental energy. After an hour or two, your brain naturally becomes exhausted. And that's exactly where IKEA places one of its smartest business tools: the restaurant. At first, selling Swedish meatballs inside a furniture store sounds strange, but it's actually brilliant. When customers stop to eat, they don't end their shopping journey. They reset it. Food restores energy. A short break reduces mental fatigue. Families relax. Children become happier. People sit down, talk, laugh. And without realizing it, they prepare themselves to continue shopping. Imagine spending 2 hours inside IKEA, then leaving because you're hungry. That's a lost sale. Instead, IKEA keeps you inside the building. You eat, you rest, and then you keep shopping. That's why millions of visitors don't just buy furniture. They buy lunch, dessert, coffee, and then more furniture. The restaurant doesn't interrupt the shopping experience. It extends it. And every extra minute inside the store increases the likelihood of another purchase. Why does IKEA make you collect the furniture yourself from a giant warehouse? The answer might surprise you. Now comes the part almost every customer accepts. Without questioning it, after choosing your furniture, you don't receive it from an employee. Instead, you walk into an enormous warehouse, you locate the shelf, you find the product, you load the heavy box onto your own cart, you transport it yourself, then you take it home. Finally, you assemble it. Think about that for a second. The customer performs work that traditional furniture stores once had to pay employees to do. That single decision reduces labor costs dramatically. It speeds up operations, it reduces storage complexity, and because the furniture arrives in flat boxes, shipping becomes far more efficient. More products fit into trucks, warehouses hold more inventory, transportation costs fall. Those savings allow IKEA to offer lower prices. Customers feel like they're getting a bargain. IKEA improves efficiency. It's a win-win system. But something even more interesting happens. Psychologists have discovered something called the IKEA Effect. When people help build something themselves, they often value it more, even if assembling it was frustrating. By the time you finish building your bookshelf, it feels like your bookshelf, not just another product. That's one of the most fascinating examples of psychology in modern retail. The biggest companies don't become successful by accident. They study human behavior, they remove friction, they create systems, and they make buying feel natural. IKEA didn't become a global giant because it sells furniture. It became a global giant because it understands people.